because they've left it so long before they've done anything, we've been told that we need to find a rental for the next 6 months. The insurance company aren't letting us know what's happening. So all of that is like over £5,000 and they're so slow to pay back. Okay, so it's been 10 days since the fire and we're not really any further in understanding what's happening than we were like when it happened. So I naively thought that, you know, after it happened we'd just phone up the insurance company and things would start moving straight away. But that's not what's happened, so I thought I'd document the process because, like I said, I just assumed that it was going to be a relatively simple process. And I did want to try and document it like as we went, but this has been a stressful couple of weeks, a really stressful couple of weeks, and I just haven't had the bandwidth really to sit down and talk about it. If you hear any weird noises in the background, the dog's just laying down there. So I've written down some notes so that hopefully I don't forget anything, because although nothing's really happened, lots has happened. So a bit of a backstory, we got into our new house about 1:30 and the removal guys started moving everything in. They were done by 5:15. As they left, we followed them out. We went and got the McDonald's because we knew we weren't going to be cooking. It had been such a busy day. So we did that, and then as we were coming home, just before 10 to 6, we got a phone call from our neighbour who said that smoke had been spotted coming out of the kitchen and the fire brigade were there. We were like, blimey, okay. So we got back at just before 10 to 6, so we were only gone for half an hour, and like the whole area was cordoned off and everything. You know, like how much can happen in that amount of time? So we went and sat in the neighbour's house. Luckily we knew our new neighbours anyway, so we went and sat in their house, like with our McDonald's, because at the time we had no idea how bad it was. We just thought it was like a tiny fire or something. And what with being like 11 weeks pregnant, when I'm hungry I need to eat, there wasn't anything to do about that. So we sat there and they had to get all the smoke out and like all the burning stuff out. So I think they like just shuffled that all out the window. Like I'm guessing that some stuff is still smouldering and that. But they let John in briefly. I don't think we were allowed to go back in there till 8 o'clock, and that was only to get some stuff. We obviously went and had a look around, and the shock, because like I said, we were only gone half an hour. Like what could have happened in half an hour? And actually the whole kitchen was destroyed and the whole house was covered in smoke and water damage. So that was like a massive shock. We weren't allowed to go back in there to live. The power was off, gas was off, the electricity was off, and obviously the kitchen was completely destroyed. The whole house stunk. So we were like, okay, fine. Phone up the insurance company, and the guy that John spoke to said, okay, well I am only the like major emergency. All I can do is arrange for someone to come out and secure the property, because the fire brigade had to smash through the kitchen door and through the front door, and the fire had blown out the back window. So we were like, okay, so what else happens? He was like, well, you have to make a claim online. And we were like, but you know, what do we do? Like, what do we do here? Because we haven't got anywhere to stay. So we ended up booking ourselves a hotel. We had to get a dog-friendly hotel. Luckily Jessie was okay, the fire brigade had got her out. She was in the living room, which I'd pulled the door shut, so the living room is like mainly untouched, and she was fine. Apparently she was asleep on the sofa. So we booked into the hotel, and while we were on the way to the hotel, we spoke to a company that were going to come out and secure the house, and the woman was like, yeah, we don't need you there because it's just going to be boarded up from the outside. So we're like, yeah, that's fine. So we carried on going. So the hotel was like 6 miles away from where we live. And we then got a phone call from the guy, the locksmith that was coming out. He was like, no, you have to be there. So John dropped us off at the hotel and then had to go back. We got to the hotel just after 9, obviously very tired 3-year-old. And John went back to the house. He didn't get back till gone 10, and they couldn't secure the house. They could do nothing. That was like a completely sleepless night for everybody. And then the next morning, we tried phoning someone again. They said it has to be an online claim. The online claim seems to be like aimed at if you're just claiming for like 1 or 2 things. It asks you to list everything that you're claiming for. And I started doing that and I was like, no, fuck this. Like, I don't know what we're claiming for. I haven't been able to see what we're claiming for. So I just did a section that said other, and said basically the whole house is either, you know, fire damaged, smoke damaged, or water damaged. That was done. We then had to upload photos. So So okay, that can be done, we can go back to the house and do that. We then got messages to say that we had to get an electrician and a gas engineer out to get the services back on, like that was a priority. And they said it will be about £200 to do that. We had to arrange that ourselves. And I was like, okay, fine. In the meantime, we got a call, John called them to get the company to come back out to actually be able to secure the house. So we went back over to the house. Because the living room was okay and we could get out into the garden, we could go back to the house and like shut the rest of it off. So we went and did that, got the photos. They came round to secure the back of the house, but still couldn't do the front because the guy had been told that it didn't need doing. It wasn't on his job sheet, despite the fact that there were 2 glass panels smashed in the living room, in the front door. So he boarded up the back window and the kitchen door, and the front still wasn't secure. So we've got a porch, so it was the outside porch door and the inside porch door was secure, but it was obviously not entirely secure. So as you can imagine, at this point we're just like, what's going on? What's going on here? The electrician came out and discovered that he couldn't actually do anything to get the power on. Originally the fire brigade weren't sure what started the fire. They thought it originated around the cooker, but they couldn't be sure what happened. They didn't know if maybe it had been knocked in the move or something. But then if you look at the photos and the videos, all of the sockets downstairs look like they've burnt out. So the electrician couldn't get any of the power back on. The fuse board had completely blown. Okay then. And then the gas engineer came out and he was like, well, I can't do anything until the electric comes back on. So the next day, the electrician guy came back and managed to get power to just the upstairs and also to the boiler as well. He couldn't do anything else, and because we couldn't get hold of anybody at the insurance company, we couldn't authorise him to do any more fixes other than that emergency one. Like, our communication from the insurance company just said it will cost you about £200. This guy actually charged £1,300 just to get partial power back to the house, and we were like, well, we can't get hold of anybody. It's Sunday, no one's answering the phone, tomorrow's bank holiday, Monday, we haven't got a clue what to do here. The guy then came back to do the boiler, and although he said it was safe to put on, there was a load of concerns with the system. There are a load of concerns with the electrical system, loads of concerns with the gas system, a lot of stuff to do with things not being bonded, and I don't understand what it means, but there was a drop in the gas, which meant that there was a small gas leak near the cooker. So again, we don't know if that contributed to it, we don't know. And all of this we had to pay for out of our own money because we couldn't get hold of anyone at the insurance company. Like, we had no idea whether any of this was going to be claimed, if we could claim this back. So we had 4 nights in the hotel. Obviously we had food because we were in the hotel, we couldn't cook anything. We had the £1,300 for the electrician because we had to arrange him ourselves, and then obviously the gas engineer as well, which was a few £100s. So, getting a bit twitchy at this point. Like, are we actually going to be able to claim this back? We've got no idea because we can't get hold of anybody. So then Tuesday morning, 9 o'clock, we finally managed to speak to somebody, and we managed to get things moving a little bit then. They got the company out to fix the front door. Well, not fix the front door, just board it up. Like, the front door's got to go. But one thing we have learned is when something like that happens, you've got a smashed window and they board it up, that's all they do. So they don't make the area safe. So John had to make the area safe. He'd also had to sweep all the stuff that was in the garden, like all the burnt stuff in the garden, into a pile and like tape it off so that we could let Isabel and the dog out there. And then it has just been phone call and appointment after another, one after another. So we spoke to, I don't know if she's like our claims handler, and they authorised an inconvenience payment for us, which covers food and stuff. They told us that we needed to go into temporary accommodation. We couldn't stay in the hotel. We had to arrange that ourselves, and again we had to pay out of our own pocket to do that. So I think that was £1,900 for 2 weeks. We're only here for another couple of days, and then I don't know what's happening after that. So we're waiting for an appointment or a chat with the accommodations team to tell us what is going to happen next with where we're going to live, because we can't get back into the house. We've had the window and door surveyor come out because obviously kitchen window, kitchen door needs replacing, the entire front of the porch needs replacing, and a couple of other windows need replacing as well, and they obviously have to check the integrity of all the windows to see if they were smoke damaged or fire damaged. We've had the cleaning team surveyor, he came out. It's going to take 5 days to clean it all up, and then obviously they have to assess what's left after that. But that isn't even started yet, so we're 10 days after it and it's not even started. The house needs drying out because obviously it's wet where they've put the fire out. Like, everything is starting to go mouldy. We're still waiting for the building surveyor to make contact because obviously we don't know whether anything needs rebuilding in the kitchen, and then obviously they have to assess what needs replacing there. I don't think they do the contents, that's obviously someone else. We need the loss adjuster to come out, and it's just so slow. There's no sense of urgency, and we have no idea what we've lost and what we haven't lost, because that pile of ashes, we've identified some stuff in there, but because everything was still in boxes and we can't unpack it because the house stinks, we don't know what we've got. The communication that we've had has been good, but there hasn't been enough of it, and it's slow. 10 days, the house is still in exactly the same state as it was 5 minutes after the fire, apart from they've boarded up a couple of windows. We don't know when it's going to get cleaned. We don't know what we've lost. We don't know what they're going to cover. We haven't had any of the money back for the electrician or the temporary accommodation, so it's just in limbo. And I was hoping that I'd have an update from John by now because he's gone into the office today, but I haven't heard anything, so I don't know. Okay, so we're a week on from the last update that I did on this, and we're in another temporary accommodation because of where we live. It's not like a big touristy area. There's not much available to rent out, so we have to keep moving. This one we moved into on Friday, and we've got to go back. We've got to move out again on Friday. It is really stressful, having to keep packing up and unpacking. Because you have to be out of one accommodation at 10 and you can't check into the next one till 4. Any refrigerated or frozen food that we've got has to go in the bin because we don't have power at the house to even store it there. Obviously we can't normally we'd batch cook and stuff so that we've got various different meals in the freezers. We can't do that, so it's really stressful. I can't cry on camera. I don't have the colouring for it. They finally got in last week to dry the place out, to get dehumidifiers in there, so it took them nearly 2 weeks to get a dehumidifier into the house after obviously the fire brigade had put the fire out. Everything was just soaked and mould had started to grow everywhere, so they've taken the carpet up in the kitchen. We had the loss adjuster round, and she has written off, I'd say, over 50% of our belongings. Anything that was in the room with the fire, even stuff that didn't necessarily look like it had been burnt, has had to go because of the heat. Anything water damaged, because they've left it so long before they've done anything, all the soot has settled on everything. It's managed to get into even boxes that were sealed, any with handles. Anything in those boxes is gone. We're not getting any information out of them. We've been told that we need to find a rental for the next 6 months. So we did that. We found somewhere yesterday. The letting agent said we can get you in straight away. We can get you in, move you in this weekend, but we can't get hold of anybody from the insurance company. So we phoned them up and they're like, yeah, okay, well we'll get the accommodations team to give you a call, and we have to communicate everything through an online portal as well. So we've put message after message after message on there, and it's 11:20. We haven't heard anything from them now, so that means that come 10 o'clock on Friday, we're going to have to find another temporary house to book into. The place that we found is about 4 or 5 miles from where we live, which is not ideal for work and nursery school purposes, but it's basically pretty much all that's available at the moment. And it's got a fitted kitchen, which is good, but there's nothing else, and we don't have anything that we can take in there. Like, literally everything has been condemned. The sofa has gone, our mattresses, loads of our clothes, all of our kitchen appliances. We've got no like plates or anything like that, so, and we can't order anything for delivery because the insurance company aren't letting us know what's happening. So if we do get in there by some miracle this weekend, we're literally going to have nothing in there. And then the cleaning company are actually booked finally to come in and start cleaning next Tuesday. Obviously it's a bank holiday weekend this weekend, so they are going to come in and finally start cleaning on the 28th, which is 25 days after the fire. They've done nothing to get the power on. They had an electrician come out and sort of like have a look, but other than the emergency electrician that we had to come, like we arranged to come in at the beginning, there's been nothing. That the surveyor is not coming until the 14th of June. I don't even know anymore. But I mean, things are finally moving, like with the house, but obviously we are technically homeless and we're not getting any support from the insurance to actually say, you know, like we've done all of this stuff ourselves. We've found somewhere, worked out how much it's going to cost them, we've looked at it, we've got the agreement from the letting agent that they can move us in as quickly as possible, and we're not getting anywhere. So they're also so slow to pay back the money that we've paid out. I mean, I don't know how anyone would do this if they didn't have access to backup money, to the electrician, the gas man, the travel lodge that we stayed in, the first 2 temporary accommodations. All of that is like over 5 grand, and they're so slow to pay back. So I don't know. I'm trying to stay positive. Obviously there's lots of positives in this, but it's really difficult. It's really difficult when in less than 48 hours I've got no idea where we're going to be living. Obviously it's stressful for us, it's stressful for me and John. I'm 14 weeks pregnant now. My phone's ringing, I don't know who that is. Unfortunately that wasn't anything to do with the insurance, so I don't really know what we're doing next, but I think I'll keep documenting this. I'll probably end this video here and then hopefully start again like next week with some, I don't know, some good news. I'm not sure, but as it is at the moment I still don't know what's going on, so there we go.